Let's talk about periods. They're a part of life for about half the world's population. The menstrual cycle is like a monthly dance in your body. It's complex, beautiful, and sometimes a bit messy. This cycle prepares the body for potential pregnancy each month. Even if pregnancy isn't the goal, the cycle still happens. The menstrual cycle isn't just about the period you see, it's a whole month of changes. Hormones are the conductors of this intricate symphony. They tell different parts of your body what to do and when. From the growth of the uterine lining to the release of an egg, hormones are in charge. Understanding your cycle can be empowering. It helps you know what's normal for your body. You can predict when you might feel certain ways. Knowing your cycle can help explain these experiences. By the end, you'll have a clearer picture of this amazing process. So let's dive in and demystify the menstrual cycle. Let's introduce our main characters, the hormones. There are 4 key players in this monthly drama. First up is estrogen. Think of estrogen as the body's cheerleader. It boosts energy and mood. It also helps build up the lining of the uterus. Estrogen levels change throughout the cycle. They're lowest during your period and highest just before ovulation. Next, we have progesterone. Progesterone is like a cozy blanket. It prepares the body for potential pregnancy. It helps maintain the uterine lining after ovulation. If there's no pregnancy, progesterone levels drop. This drop triggers your period. Now let's meet FSH, or follicle-stimulating hormone. FSH is like a coach for your ovaries. It tells them to start preparing eggs for release. Last but not least, we have LH, or luteinizing hormone. LH is the starter pistol for ovulation. This surge triggers the release of an egg from the ovary. The menstrual phase is where it all begins. This is what most people think of as their period. It usually lasts about 3 to 7 days. During this time, the uterus sheds its lining. This results in the bleeding you see. Your hormone levels are at their lowest point during this phase. This can affect how you feel both physically and emotionally. As the uterus sheds its lining, you might experience cramps. These are caused by the uterus contracting. The severity of cramps can vary from person to person. Along with cramps, you might feel tired or moody. While it might not feel like it, your body is already preparing for the next cycle. Even as you're having your period, your brain is sending signals. It's telling your ovaries to start getting ready. FSH levels start to rise during this phase. This hormone begins to stimulate the growth of follicles in your ovaries. The menstrual phase is a time of renewal. Your body is clearing out the old and making way for the new. As your period ends, you enter the follicular phase. This phase gets its name from the follicles in your ovaries. Remember those follicles that FSH started to stimulate? They're now growing and developing. Each follicle contains an egg. Usually only one follicle will fully mature. The others will be reabsorbed by the body. During the follicular phase, estrogen levels start to rise. This rise in estrogen has several effects on your body. It causes the lining of your uterus to thicken. This is in preparation for a potential pregnancy. Estrogen also changes the consistency of your cervical mucus. It becomes thinner and more slippery. This change helps sperm travel more easily if you have sex during this time. While estrogen is the star of the follicular phase, the other hormones are at work too. All of these hormonal changes are preparing your body for the next big event, ovulation. Section 5. Ovulation, the main event. Ovulation is the main event of the menstrual cycle. It usually happens about 14 days before your next period starts. During ovulation, a mature egg is released from one of your ovaries. This egg then travels down the fallopian tube. It's here that it can be fertilized if it meets a sperm. The release of the egg is triggered by a surge in LH. This surge happens about 24 to 36 hours before ovulation. FSH levels also rise during this time, but not as dramatically as LH. This hormonal surge causes the most mature follicle to burst open. It releases its egg into the fallopian tube. You might be able to tell when you're ovulating. Some people experience a slight pain or twinge on one side of their lower abdomen. After the egg is released, it can survive for about 24 hours. Section 6. The luteal phase, winding down. After ovulation comes the luteal phase. This phase typically lasts about 14 days. It starts right after ovulation and ends when your next period begins. The star of this phase is progesterone. Remember that corpus luteum we talked about? It starts producing progesterone in large amounts. This hormone prepares your body for a potential pregnancy. During the luteal phase, the lining of your uterus continues to thicken. It's getting ready to support a fertilized egg if conception occurs. Progesterone causes the lining to become spongier and filled with blood vessels. This creates an ideal environment for an embryo to implant. Even if you're not trying to get pregnant, your body goes through these changes every cycle. If pregnancy doesn't occur, hormone levels start to drop. The corpus luteum breaks down. This causes a sharp decrease in both estrogen and progesterone. This hormonal drop is what triggers your period to start. Section 7. Hormonal interactions, a delicate dance. The menstrual cycle is a beautiful example of hormonal teamwork. Each hormone plays a specific role, but it's how they work together that makes the cycle function. It's like a carefully choreographed dance. Each dancer, hormone, has their own moves, but it's the way they move together that creates the performance, the menstrual cycle. Let's look at how these hormones interact. At the start of your cycle, FSH rises. This tells your ovaries to start maturing eggs. As the eggs mature, they produce estrogen. The rising estrogen tells your brain to slow down FSH production. It's a feedback loop. At the same time, estrogen triggers a surge in LH. This LH surge causes ovulation. After ovulation, the corpus luteum produces progesterone. Progesterone then tells the brain to stop producing FSH and LH. These hormonal interactions are incredibly precise. They're timed down to the hour in some cases. This timing is crucial. Section 8. Conclusion. The marvels of the menstrual cycle. As we wrap up our journey through the menstrual cycle, let's take a moment to marvel at its complexity. From the rise and fall of hormones to the precise timing of ovulation, every step is carefully orchestrated. Your body goes through this intricate process every month. It's a testament to the incredible capabilities of the female reproductive system. Understanding your menstrual cycle can be empowering. It helps you know what's normal for your body. You can better predict when you might experience certain symptoms. This knowledge can help you plan your life around your cycle. The menstrual cycle is more than just a biological process. It's a rhythm that influences many aspects of life. By understanding these changes, you can work with your body rather than against it. This understanding can lead to a greater appreciation for your body and its capabilities. Remember, every person's cycle is unique. If you have concerns about your cycle, it's always best to talk to a healthcare provider. So here's to understanding, appreciating, and working with the amazing process that is your menstrual